Another horrible story relating to women's rights is that a pharmacist in Idaho, which now has a rule that allows, it's called a conscience clause, which allows pharmacists to just not fill a prescription if they don't believe, or rather specifically for emergency contraceptives and so-called abortion pills, if they have a problem with that, if their conscience doesn't allow it.
Absolutely insane.
Hey, listen, after the story we did on the last show about the Philadelphia abortion doctor and all the heinous things he did in late-term abortions, it really became clear to me, I really hate abortion. I really, really do. I believe it should be legal. And when we look at this story, pro-life. What is pro-life? In this case, a Walgreens pharmacist didn't give a girl a medication for uterine bleeding. What is pro-life? Because she suspected it may have been the result of an abortion, which she didn't agree with. What's pro-life about not withholding medication that could save someone's life? And the hypocrisy is that when we hear the pro-life sentiment cited for being against abortion and wanting to avail yourself of this conscience clause as a pharmacist, letting a woman bleed out because you refuse to fill her prescription because you inferred she may have had an abortion.
Well, we could go on all day about the hypocrisy of these idiots, but how does this legislation get passed? That's the craziest thing here.
It's
the
Idaho.
Legislation.
I don't know.
That's insane.
The other thing is this. The pharmacist actually called a nurse at the office that had prescribed this uterine bleeding drug, prevention drug that is, and said to the nurse, why did you prescribe this? And the nurse said, I don't have to tell you that. That violates confidentiality. Pharmacist hangs up, says, I'm not giving you this prescription. And the problem is far bigger, ladies and gentlemen, than this one anti-choice pharmacist, right? It is both ridiculous and incredibly dangerous to allow women's medical care to be at the whim of a Walgreens pharmacist who is anti-choice. How many people's health care are we putting on the line based on the, I don't know, social, political, religious whims of a Walgreens pharmacist in Idaho? We cannot have lone pharmacists denying prescriptions to people that have obtained them properly. The pharmacist also, I'm getting emails from women saying, the pharmacist is an embarrassment to women. How dare she put another woman's life in danger by denying her anti-bleeding medication? And all of these are brilliant points. Now, my understanding is that this is a violation of the law as it is anyway, whether you agree with it or not. The law allows a pharmacist to refuse birth control of any kind, and they can refuse to distribute the morning after pill. It does not say that you can refuse medications, even if this is two levels of insanity. Even if she knew that this bleeding was the result of an abortion, you cannot withhold medication due to complications of abortions or using birth control, right? But there was not even proof that that was the case. So this is a complete failure. It is a complete perversion of the law in any case. I mean, think about it. What if a pharmacist refused to give someone antibiotics because they thought, you know, you're more prone to some infections in the period after having an abortion, so I'm not going to give you antibiotics for that sinus infection. It's a perversion of the law. This needs to be changed. We cannot be at the whim of individual pharmacists for the care of hundreds or thousands of people with valid prescriptions.
It's just not the pharmacist's place to be deciding anything like that. I mean, how does that even fall into their job description?
According to this bill that was passed,
that's why it's so crazy.
It is the problem. It is the problem. And we'll take a break. Speaking of pro-life, the Michigan Messenger is reporting that Dave Ajima, who's a Republican congressman from Granville, Michigan, he is now introducing legislation to eliminate the Michigan Health Fund Initiative. It would shift $9 million away from that to the Michigan Aeronautics Fund. What would have been researched with that $9 million in great part? HIV funding. Virtually all Michigan funding for HIV research is part of this $9 million. Talk about pro-life.
Clearly, aeronautics is more important.
Apparently, to Dave Ajima, it is. It's very sad, Louis, what is going on with healthcare in this country. And as we talked about, public options, how could they start? We need to start looking into that quick, especially at the state level. We'll be back after this.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.